You're watching Two Button Crew.
Your daily Nintendo's of fandom.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Simeon.
How are you guys doing today?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good because it fulfills me to do this with you, to be in the industry that we love, doing what we love.
Mm-hmm. Talking about things that we love.
Yeah.
Video games. Now, you might be wondering how we got our start. We've been friends for a long time, but we haven't been in journalism forever since we were like 10 years old. That had to start, and you might be curious as to how we started and how, in fact, you might start.
Yeah, because I think a lot of gamers think that a career in gaming sounds very appealing, whether that's journalism or development or marketing or
competition,
animation, testing, competition, esports.
So much.
There's a lot of places you can go, but although we've done pretty well in esports, we're here to talk about journalism.
Yeah.
Specifically today. So we want to share with you how you guys can get started if you'd like to do it like we did. And I think the first thing you can do easily is to start a blog. And that's what we did. Didn't I call you?
Yeah, you called me on the phone and you're like, hey man, I think we should have our own website. And I was like, hey, I really like the idea of that.
Yep.
So we started.
Okay, I was 14. This was 8 years ago. That puts us at 2008. Websites were pretty new.
Yeah.
I mean, relatively.
Making your own website if you weren't like part of a company.
There you go.
Like easy made websites were very, very new.
And a lot of things that are popular on the internet today existed back then, or just barely. Like YouTube, for example, is only 2006, which still amazes me. YouTube just celebrated its 10th anniversary. So you can start a blog and you can start writing, and that's the first thing that a lot of people are going to be looking for. If you request a review copy of a game, which we'll talk about, or if you want a job at a magazine or a big website, they're going to say, send us links to things that you've written with your name on the bottom. And 3 reviews within the last 6 months or something. So it's good to get a start. It's good to get in a writing habit. Writing helps you in whatever you want to do. Writing translates into any medium. It can be the script of a video, it can be a blog post, it can turn into a book. Writing is where it's got to start.
Yeah, you gotta get out there, gotta start putting your stuff on the internet, and that's kind of difficult because if you are just throwing your ideas out there, one of two things is likely to happen. There's a very, very small possibility that it'll just explode and be great, but either nobody will read it, which is quite likely, or people will read it and not care for it too much. And that's why it's really good to do it with a friend, to bring a friend with you and say, hey, I'm starting up this website. I want to start to do some game journalism. Will you help me out here? Will you do it with me? And
yeah, you're going to have a lot more fun doing this with someone that you can goof off with. I was 14, you were 16 when we first started the website, and we would do things on April Fools like, oh no, Simeon is taking over the website, and like putting his picture on the logo and stuff. And we had a blast with that, even though we were probably the only page views that whole day.
Like, whoa, this post has 6 views. Oh wait, I refreshed this page 4 times.
Exactly. In addition to writing, starting a podcast would be really good because you need writing skills, but you also need speaking skills, because eventually your career is going to put you in front of video.
Yeah.
Our culture is going towards VR.
Yep.
And you need to start getting comfortable in front of a camera. But before then, you have to speak well. So you can start with a podcast. You don't have to worry about people seeing you. You can edit your voice and your sentences a lot easier than you can edit with a video.
Yeah. So
do a podcast about gaming. There aren't super many. There's far more blogs than there are podcasts.
Yeah.
So get on podcasting.
Yeah. And that's maybe something that we need to take advice for ourselves. Podcasts are kind of difficult because it's like usually like 45 minutes plus of sitting down and talking about it. And I mean, we carve out time each week for this, but doing a podcast is difficult, but that might be something that we will be looking at in the future.
I agree. The next thing I would encourage you to do is pick a direction. You want to be known for a thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to be I'm another game journalist. You have to have a niche. We chose to be the Daily Show for Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
Although we could have been 90s gamers or
Angry
Sega versus
gamers.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing. You can have a hook with your personality if you have a compelling enough personality, unlike myself.
You have a compelling personality.
Thank you. But you need to be focused enough that you know what you're doing so that you can tell people what you are in a sentence. We are your daily Nintendos of fandom.
Yep.
And pick a direction. And I would encourage you not to try to be the one breaking the news, because that is tough. To be on the cutting edge of the industry, trying to break the stories, you're really just going to be a step behind the big people that are going out and getting those interviews and those pieces of information. It doesn't really do you much good to pass those things on. But be like, I've wanted to be this if I had time, be the infographic review guy. There's no video game review infographics out there. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Do something where you're able to write and talk about your opinions, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that day's news.
Yeah.
Stuff that won't be out of date the next month if people are looking back in your archive or something.
Like being one of the big guys, being on the cutting edge, that is maybe your end goal. But don't be discouraged if it's like, I can't really get anything right now. Like, that's not where you start. That's where you hopefully end up.
Yeah. Start talking to companies, and I would begin with the indie developers, because indie developers are a lot more eager to talk about their games. You can land a lot of indie interviews fairly easily, maybe even some codes, much faster than you'll ever get a code from Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, Activision, anything like that.
True. And that's the next thing is, don't be afraid to ask for review copies.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say, hey, can I review your game? I have this game blog here. And
I request every Nintendo game. I've probably been turned down 100 times in the last 5 years, but I've gotten Super Smash Bros. For Wii U before launch. I've gotten Captain Toad for free, and I've gotten Paper Mario Sticker Star.
Yeah.
Okay? 3 successes. It's worth sending an email. You can just say, okay, this game just got a release date. Please put me on the list for a review copy. And if they have extra, they're going to try to get those out there.
Indeed.
It's going to go to the biggest people first, though. And then if you're wondering, okay, how do I even do this? Who am I talking to? You can't type Nintendo into my phone. Well, all of these places are businesses. They have addresses and phone numbers on Google. And you just ask to talk to people. Sometimes it can be a little confusing because the people that handle Nintendo Press, they don't work at the headquarters in Redmond. Nintendo hired Golan, a company named Golan. It's like a PR agency that handles multiple companies. So you would just call Golan, ask for Nintendo, ask if you can be assigned a rep. I did this when I was like 16 years old, and I got one, and it's easier than it sounds.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to look these people up on Google. One time I was like, my parents traveled a lot, so I would try to take those opportunities. I'd be like, okay, we're in San Francisco right now. What game developers are there in San Francisco? And I found the Behemoth, but they didn't have a phone number on their website. A lot of them do, but I was like looking up the Behemoth on Facebook. So embarrassing. I got like someone's personal account. You know how you can have like a nickname or something? Mine was Stud Muffin. So this guy was the Behemoth, and I'm like, this doesn't look like the game development studio that made, I think they were Castle Crashers.
Yeah.
I called him, and I was like, hi, is this the Behemoth? And I was nervous. You're going to be nervous when you make these calls. He's like, yeah? And then I just launched into my whole speech because, before I place these calls, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, and I'm like, blah, 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 I have this website. I'm wondering if I can meet up with you, get some information on whatever projects you're working on, maybe talk about doing review copies in the future. And he's like, what? And then I say it all again. And then he's like, I don't think I'm I'm the behemoth.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So that was just like his nickname that his friends called him, wasn't
Right.
it? Not the game developer, the behemoth.
So try to get into events. E3, PAX, what other ones?
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
Get in Comic-Con.
You can just buy a ticket to Comic-Con. And people who did that this year, they got to see the Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition. They got to play Federation Force.
Breath of the Wild.
That's a great starting point. And there's more Comic-Cons than just the San Diego one.
Yeah. Wherever you live, unless it's out, like really out in the boonies, there's probably some sort of comic or other kind of convention somewhere nearby that you can travel to.
So buy tickets and request press passes at the same time. See if you can get the press passes. They'll ask for credentials, links to stuff, like a picture of a business card. You just make this stuff.
Yeah.
You fake it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we did.
We're still faking it. So then another really important thing is just show up every day. And by showing up, I mean do something. Work on it. Whether you're publishing a blog every day or just writing for it every day or writing down ideas. And then Saturday is your fleshing out a post day.
Yeah.
Show up every day. Get involved in stuff like, all the big websites have communities. Like IGN has forums and blogs and stuff. And you don't necessarily have to make your own website. Your blog can be on IGN.
Yeah.
And they feature those things if they're really good. So you can just be the best on Go Nintendo, on IGN or something like that. And if you get enough blog posts featured, you could just ask them about freelancing sometime.
Yeah.
So don't give up. This is going to be, you've got years of work ahead of yourselves. And we still do. And don't expect, what would you tell them not to expect?
Don't expect to go like this. Expect it to go like this or like this even.
Yeah.
Before it goes up, because we have started and stopped like 3 or 4 times and we get discouraged and sometimes it's bad, like right now we're kind of like this, but you know, it's not
that's the
easy.
start of everybody's story.
Yep. It's not overnight success. It's not playing the lottery.
No.
It's slow, hard work, and hopefully we hope to get there someday.
You ask the people who have made it, how'd you get here? And it's a long story.
Yeah.
Like, I was just listening to Nintendo Voice Chat podcast from IGN. The general manager of IGN goes on that show because he likes Nintendo. And he talked about how he was interning for official Nintendo magazine. And he had some really funny stories about that. Like, he was writing about a shooter and said, you know, you kill the space pirates or something. And Nintendo's like, no, you can't say the word kill. But you know, he had to work a long time to even get to that point of landing an internship. You can do internships and not get paid, by the way.
Yeah.
And you're building up a portfolio. So
yep. Getting your shoe in the door.
That's right. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
All right. Well, go and be journalists.
Yes, write about the things that you love. Start that blog today.
Yep. Put a link in the comments and we'll check it out.
We will.
We'll collab. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of the crew.
Don't forget to comment on this video about your story, where you come from, especially if you have started in game journalism.
We'll see you guys next time.
Signing out.